It's Fire Elemental here, and we're here for the last mastery video. Real quick, let's just claim a few prizes. There we go. We didn't have a lot of time to play for that arena since it was during the sleep cycle for the most part, but let's get down to it. Alright, so this is the final mastery video. In this video, we're talking about different kind of types you can have. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is the suicide, the full suicide slash legend run mastery setup. So if I do actually go for a legend run, this event quest or the next one, I'll be showing that one off in a separate video. But basically what you do is you have glass cannon at rank 2 or rank 1. I'm not sure if you want to have it at rank 3 because then it decreases your health a lot. But I think you might be able to pull off rank 3 nowadays. You want to have, of course, you want recoil at 1 and then these 3 at max. You want assassin maxed. Don't bother with deep wounds since you can't pull off a legend run with with deep wounds champs for the most part. This setup will be about the same. I think you want that maxed, of course. I don't think you have to worry with the extended fury. Your take off Mystic Dispersion over here. Keep that at 3. This can be at 3 as well. That way, if you do use Storm, you can stun chain. You'll have to adjust some masteries around. I'm not sure if you can afford to have this at 3. But basically, you'll want to add willpower for this. So add 3 here, get willpower at level 2 or 3. And then you want to have coagulate. This will add a PI boost as well. So that's that. You have to experiment around with that. As you can see, the next one is Mystic Dispersion. So for this one, this is the mastery setup I use. You have 4, 5, or possibly even 3 Mystic Dispersion level here. You'll want to have you can have a limber timer on that in case you value AW defense more. That way, if you have a Juggernaut, for instance, or a Magique, they have less of a stun timer, making it harder for them to reduce your abilities / stop a Juggernaut. But I suggest putting it towards offense things, because for the most part, that will only save you a few different hits, and unless they just end up messing up, it's usually not worth it. The next type would be just the basic one. This is more for beginners, where you don't have suicides. Basically, for this arc, you just want to have the main crit masteries on this left side of the field, where I just did the scroll down thing around that downwards. You won't want to have, you can have glass cannon if you want to afford it. Usually you won't worry about the assassin, deep wounds, and despair masteries because those cost carbonite cores, and for the most part it's not worth it. If you do decide to splurge, you will want to focus on assassin more than deep wounds and despair, since assassin's more versatile. If you are still a lower player and you don't know what to use your masteries on, you can get willpower. However, that is a little costly. So nowadays, I don't really think it's worth buying if you don't already have it. I'd put your masteries more towards either saving it, the XP bonus, the gold thing. Let me know how that goes in the comments below, because I've been curious about that. I've heard it's pretty good, but more for lower players who are down to 1 million gold and such. You might want to put dexterity in rank 3. Excuse me. Had a hiccup or something. Alright, so you might want to have dexterity at rank 3. I personally think dexterity at rank 3 isn't a bad thing. I don't think it's worth the masteries, but if you're at a lower level, having dexterity at rank 3 seems to have a pretty high chance of getting the crit even at high levels, but for lower levels it's a good idea because you're not going to spend your masteries for the most part on expensive things like suicides and such. So it's a nice cheap thing For the most part, it's cheap, and it's pretty helpful in some fights, especially if you decide to swipe back, and while they rush at you, you use Iron Man's second or something along those lines. A single beam, especially used with Storm's second, that's a pretty good idea. So, for the most part, you can also add a little different, some specs things for AW. So if you want to add in a few different specs, like have these at level 3, then have Mystic Dispersion at rank 1 or something like that. That's 4 masteries you can remove. I'd remove 2 from Deep Wounds, 1 from Assassin, if I was to have that set up, because I like having Glass Cannon at rank 3. It really helps with the map 6 fights. Um, hmm. Of course, there always is the suicide and mystic dispersion thing without willpower. I have been curious about that setup, but I haven't really tested it yet. I did one video about it, but for the most part, I don't quite know. I think, if anything, you should just have the bleed suicide mastery and then mystic dispersion without willpower, especially if you're going to use Magique, because then it'll just bring it down slowly. But I think that's about it for this mastery video and series. I hope you guys enjoyed, and look forward to the next upcoming series. I still have to decide what it is, but I'm thinking of doing some Act 5 gameplay. I'm thinking of doing a live stream of either me doing a legend run, because we have 20 revives now. We bought that $30 thing because we had some iTunes credit, and for me, I didn't see a reason not to, so either please comment down below if you want me to do a legend run with the upcoming Spider Quest, or if you want me to do a Act 5 video where I just go through and 100% Act 5 Chapter 2. We already have Chapter 1 100%. And Act 3 doesn't come out for 1 or 2 months, to my knowledge. Let me think. So it's almost the 8th. Yeah, so we still got a month or so before Chapter 3 comes out. So let me know in the comments, and this is Fire Elemental signing out, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.